Khamzat Chimaev is grabbing headlines just a few weeks ahead of his middleweight title defense against Sean Strickland at UFC 328. MMA analyst and reporter Luke Thomas has pushed back hard against the idea of Chimaev jumping to light heavyweight anytime soon. Thomas believes the win over DDP wasn't all that impressive and says Khamzat still needs to prove himself with a strong performance at 185 before moving up. Meanwhile, Jorge Masvidal has also taken shots at Chimaev's fight style. Masvidal criticized what he sees as a smothering, grappling heavy approach, saying all he does is literally holding people and that it isn't real fighting in his eyes. On the other side, Khamzat himself has responded to the growing criticism about his inactivity. Ahead of the Strickland fight, he pushed back on questions about not fighting enough since winning the belt last August, making it clear he's been staying focused and ready to silence the doubters. Let's dive into what Luke Thomas had to say.
It's funny, right? Because you got Ulberg and Jiri fighting for this vacant belt, but then Khamzat's shadow kind of looms over 205 already.
To fulfill what you're describing, I think is possible. I want to be clear. Mm-hmm. But I think there's, a few things have to happen for that to be realistic. One is, to your point, you can't just beat Sean Strickland, but you got to go in there and just make it look like it's a waste of your time. The fight with DDP wasn't exactly like that, but the difference between them was so enormous that you're like, okay, does he really have a threat in this division? If Strickland can't make it interesting at any point, that is a problem. But nevertheless, you do need to remember, again, the UFC is just going to make a decision on what they can sell. Do they think they can sell more with Khamzat moving up? Do they want to deal with that? What if he moves up and he gets, destroyed and now it's a problem because you have vacated it? The other point I'm trying to make here is the UFC's willingness to accommodate this vision.
Arman Tsarukyan has made his intentions very clear for his next fight. In a recent interview, Arman said if the UFC lets him choose his opponent, he wants Charles Oliveira for the BMF title. He noted that Ilia Topuria already has a fight scheduled, so Oliveira, who is ranked number 3 and currently holds the BMF belt, would be the perfect matchup. Arman believes the BMF title fits him better than Oliveira and made it clear he wants that belt. He also reminded everyone that he already beat Charles once before, which only adds to his confidence in a potential rematch. At the same time, Dana White has praised Arman for staying active and keeping himself relevant. He said he likes what Arman has been doing lately and said that hanging out with Nina drama doesn't hurt. However, he added that Arman just needs to avoid being a maniac when he shows up to events. This keeps Arman right in the middle of the lightweight title conversation as the division continues to evolve. Let's roll the clip of Arman calling for the BMF title fight and Dana White's comments on his activity.
Damn, but it's better Charles Oliveira has a name, so. And we already fought, I beat him. So now he got the BMF title. BMF title, it doesn't fit him, so I need that belt.
What is next for Arman? He's becoming a superstar outside of UFC 2. What is your plan for Arman next?
Yeah, I like what Arman's been doing. That he's kept himself active, getting himself out there. Hanging out with Nina doesn't hurt either. She kills it. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, after each event plays out, everything sort of changes and you start looking at what the possibilities are for fights coming up the rest of the year. We'll see what happens with Arman.
All right.
Arman needs to not be a maniac when he shows up to the event.
A wild and controversial moment just went viral in the combat sports world. A 21-year-old undefeated one championship prospect who had been knocking out opponents quickly in his young MMA career made his professional boxing debut against Iranian boxer Bagher Faraji in Phuket, Thailand. The young fighter was clearly losing on the scorecards and getting put under heavy pressure in round 4. In a moment of frustration, he reverted to his MMA instincts and threw a clean head kick that knocked Faraji out cold. He was immediately disqualified for the illegal strike. The clip spread like wildfire online, with many people calling the move unsportsmanlike and even suggesting it warranted more serious consequences. The fighter later claimed he received a lifetime ban from boxing as a result. This incident has sparked a debate about fighters crossing over from MMA to boxing and how well they can control their instincts when things aren't going their way. Let's roll the clip one more time. Ilia Topuria just gave a big interview with a Spanish reporter ahead of the UFC White House card, and he covered a lot. He revealed a major detail about the fight itself. Originally, he was scheduled to face Islam Makhachev, but a last-minute injury forced a change, leading to a lightweight title unification bout against Justin Gaethje instead. Even with that switch, Ilia didn't lose excitement. He showed respect to Justin, acknowledging his legacy and what he brings to the table, but made it clear he believes his technique is on another level and expects to get the job done in the first round. Topuria also addressed the retirement talk that's been floating around. He shut it down completely, saying he has no plans to retire anytime soon and will keep fighting as long as he still enjoys the process. El Matador also spoke about how special this event is, calling the opportunity to fight on the White House South Lawn something extraordinary and a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This isn't just another card for him, it's history, and he's fully aware of the stage he's stepping onto. As for preparation, his camp started in Madrid and has now moved to Miami, where he's finishing the final stages before heading to Washington for one of the biggest events in UFC history. Khamzat Chimaev just revealed a story, this time involving Jiri Prochazka, and given their history, it hits a lot different. Khamzat recently ran into Jiri completely by surprise during a training session, not knowing he would be there at all, and ended up immediately asking him for a spar on the spot. Just like with some of his previous run-ins, Khamzat says it wasn't planned at all. He and his team were simply getting a workout in while traveling, something he always does when in camp, and suddenly found themselves sharing the gym with one of the most dangerous light heavyweights in the world. But this isn't just a random encounter. Khamzat and Jiri already have history. Khamzat has previously claimed that he dominated Jiri in sparring, something that didn't sit well with the former champion and has added tension between the two. That, combined with Chimaev's long talk about plans to move up to 205 in the future, a division where Jiri could very realistically be holding the belt, has made things a lot more personal recently. Here's what Chimaev said, quote, "You can randomly run into fighters like that, and I didn't even know that this was a famous gym or something. When I saw Jiri in there, he seemed a bit nervous, like he was waiting for something to happen. I just asked him to spar with me, and he was like, no, I have to go and this and that. He just ran away, completely scared. I don't know. Maybe we will fight in the future, but I don't care." End quote. If Khamzat beats Strickland in dominant fashion, the UFC will very likely give him a chance to move up and fight for a second belt, especially with not many exciting challenges left for him at middleweight. Nasruddin Imavov is expected to be next in line for a title shot after Strickland, setting up a matchup that doesn't exactly have fans buzzing with excitement. Still, the next few months could prove crucial for the UFC landscape, with key fights and divisional movement shaping what comes next. That's it from MMA Psycho. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.